How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Who's your favorite student?
Oh, Dante, I love all PBS students equally. I can't choose.
What does the word diversity mean to you?
Diversity. So when I think of diversity, I think of all the different like pieces that make up someone's identity. So I think of their sexual orientation, their race, their gender, their pieces of their culture, their ability. All these different things kind of give people a certain lens that they look at the world through. And I think diversity and appreciating diversity is kind of the ability to recognize that, like those different experiences and different lenses, and learning from those who have different lenses than you do.
If you could describe yourself in three words, what would they be?
Hmm. I would say curious. I would say hardworking, and I would say warm.
Have you been involved in LGBTQ plus organizations?
I've never been involved in LGBTQ plus like specific organizations, like organizations that specifically serve the community. However, in organizations I've been involved with in the past, I always do my best to make sure that that is a point that I focus into. For example, I used to when I was in college a few years ago, I was involved in this organization called Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I got us to kind of tent at the local Pride festival, and that was the first time we'd ever done that, and that's something I'm really proud of doing.
Must have been fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
What are some of the best pro LGBTQ plus organizations in your opinion?
There's a lot of great ones. Um, but there's one I actually learned about, I've been reading up on recently and learned about, and it's called Rainbow Railroad. And it's actually based out of Canada, and they do really awesome work. Basically, what they do is they help people in the LGBTQ plus community who live in countries where living their lives as a gay person or a lesbian or a trans person is actually dangerous to them. Um, and they help them move to a country. They provide their travel, they help them get their life started, and they help them move to a country where it's safe for them to kind of live their true selves. And I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, because it's better to be your true self than to hide who you really are.
Absolutely.
If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
I want to travel so many places. But one place that's really high on my list is Amsterdam. I've always been interested. I think it's just a beautiful city aesthetically. I think it's such like it's pretty to look at, and I'm really interested in the Dutch culture. I also love tulips are one of my favorite flowers, and I've always wanted to see the tulip fields that they have there.
Yeah. Who's someone you believe that really changed the LGBTQ plus community for the better?
Hmm. I did a lot of thinking about this question because there's a lot of people who have made such a big impact. And I chose someone who I think has made an impact in somewhat recent times. It's an actress named Laverne Cox, and she was the first trans actress that I personally had ever seen on television. And I think she was the first trans actress that a lot of people ever saw on television. Um, and I think she did a really awesome job of kind of creating a mirror for Black trans women in mainstream media that wasn't there before. And I think she kind of started paving a way. That there's still a lot of work left to do, but she got a lot of work done, and I think she's a really awesome pioneer in that regard.
What is your favorite core value?
Favorite core value. My favorite core value is courage, um, because I think it takes a lot of courage to live your authentic self. Whether you're in the LGBTQ plus community or not, um, expressing your true person is brave, because you never know how people are going to react or accept you. And I think doing that, and that's something I remind myself of every day, is to be courageous and be myself. And yeah, that's my favorite core value.
How do strong values make us better people?
I think having strong personal values kind of act as a compass for yourself. It kind of helps guide you in difficult times, or when you need to make a tough decision, or when you might be kind of teetering on whether you should do something, whether you should do the right thing or not. I think having a strong core values will really help you in many regards in life.
How is the LGBTQ plus representation where you grew up?
Where I grew up, it was non-existent, to say the least. I don't think I I racked my brain, and I don't think that I met an LGBTQ plus person who was out until I was in college at 18. So it was virtually none. That being said, I'm sure that there was people that I had come in contact with. I just didn't know, but it was none.
What was your perception of the LGBTQ plus community when you were younger?
Because of the area I grew up in, my perception wasn't great. Um, I grew up in a very small town, and I went to a religious school. And not saying that religion is bad, but the school that I went to basically told me that being gay or being part of the LGBTQ community wasn't a good thing. Um, so the messaging I grew up with was it was not okay. Don't do it. And obviously I have worked through that and kind of started creating my own picture, and definitely I have a extremely positive perception of the community now. But um, that's what I grew up with.
How did I do on the interview?
A plus. You were incredible, Dante.
Mm, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. This is awesome.